This was the popular reception in London for George Bush in his farewell European tour.
Golden crowd! Terrorists! George Bush! Terrorists!
But inside 10 Downing Street, the reception was much cozier.
And so today Britain will announce additional troops for Afghanistan, bringing our numbers in Afghanistan to the highest level.
In fact, that will amount to only 230 soldiers. There are 7,800 British troops in Afghanistan at the moment. But compare this 230 with the recent spectacular jailbreak in Kandahar, when no less than 870 outlaws, including more than 400 Taliban, were set free. Currently, there are no less than 65,000 Western troops mired in the war in Afghanistan. Half of them US, half of them NATO. It's still all about the war on terror.
First thing about Gordon Brown, he's tough on terror, and I appreciate it. And so should the people of Great Britain and the world.
The US president also stressed that, I quote, "The people of Afghanistan and Iraq appreciate how tough Bush and Brown are on terror." 230 extra troops may not make a lot of difference in fighting the Taliban. But Brown had to stress, I quote, "It's in the British national interest to confront the Taliban, otherwise Afghanistan will come to us." So while the Taliban plot how to strike London, Bush and Brown agreed on more sanctions on Iran. The military option, according to Bush, is still on the table. And just in case, Bush stressed he had no quarrel with the Iranian people, just like he had no quarrel with the Iraqi people in early 2003. Bush and wife Laura gave a joint interview to Sky TV, the British sister of Fox News. Bush told Sky that essentially 65,000 Western troops in Afghanistan, it's all about freedom.
This is freedom's march. I'm not surprised that an enemy that can't stand freedom is trying to shake our will.
And it's worth it.
In Afghan democracy, I've come to the conclusion, and Laura's come to the conclusion, that it does matter. It matters for our own security, as we learned on September the 11th. It also matters from a humanitarian perspective.
Then there's the small matter of finding dead or alive that man in a cave.
I said dead or alive right after September the 11th. It's an unfortunate statement I made. But inherent in that statement is our desire to bring him to justice. It was unscripted. I spoke my mind, and it just sent the wrong signal. I didn't realize it at the time, obviously, otherwise I wouldn't have sent it.
And there's also the small matter of that war in the Middle East.
Getting rid of Saddam Hussein was the right thing to do. And I'm not going to back off 1 inch on that. The world is better off without him. And I'm so sorry that innocent civilians die in Iraq, but I want you to remember, hundreds of thousands died when Saddam Hussein was leading that country. And war is brutal. I wish we didn't have war. But I believe we're now on the way to peace.
Bush also volunteered the solution for the U.S. economic crisis.
Now, in America, what we need to be doing is drilling for more oil and gas. And as a result of the Democratic Congress not letting us drill for oil and gas in America, our consumers are paying a higher price for gasoline.
But does the president lose his sleep when about 80% of Americans, according to a CBS New York Times poll, say the country's on the wrong track?
First of all, popularity is fleeting. And I want it to be said about George W. Bush that when he finished his presidency, he looked in the mirror at a man who did not compromise his core principles for the sake of politics, or the Gallup poll, or the latest, whatever.